At this point, you should be familiar with what the smiley face tricks are. Hyphenated modifier, magic 3, humor, literary devices, expanded moment, specific details for effect. The piece I'm going to show you today has most of these, but not all of them. So please forgive me for any of the smiley face tricks that you were hoping to use that aren't incorporated into this piece. To begin with, when writing a piece of writing, you want it to be natural rather than forced. So don't look at a sentence and say, okay, in this sentence I'm going to use a magic 3 now. Instead, you need to start writing and see where it goes. If you notice that you have a magic 2, which doesn't exist by the way, see if you can add a third thing to turn it into a magic 3. If you're coming up with some sort of descriptive word and you're realizing there is no single word for it, use a hyphenated modifier to describe it. If it's an instant that can really be expanded, then do that. But let it be natural. With this particular piece and just how I write in general, I just write. I just sit down and see where my fingers take me. And I use the delete button frequently, so just keep that in mind. All right, so this piece is called Prisoner versus Guard. And right away, from the title, you'll notice that I have a metaphor. The battle to lull a toddler to sleep. Prisoner versus guard. There is no actual prisoner or guard, and there is no actual battle. It's all metaphorical, which hopefully you'll see through the piece itself. 7:30 p.m. and I'm surrounded by darkness and the soothing sound of the river water rushing over jagged rocks. My only company, a bull-headed toddler refusing to drift off into blissful slumber. This entire passage is utilizing literary devices. I've got imagery, surrounded by darkness and the soothing sound of river water rushing over jagged rocks. That's both visual and sound imagery. I also have alliteration in there. But also I have this metaphor of my daughter, bull-headed toddler. Obviously, she's not a real bull, but it's describing her. Going on. I've been traveling since infancy. At a month old, I was camping. By 6 months, I was spring breaking in Clearwater Beach. By my teens, I was traveling abroad. Travel is one of the greatest gifts, and I'm thrilled to share this gift with my children. Until bedtime, that is. So here I've got my magic 3 going on. But I also have a little bit of humor in there. Okay, sorry, it's just subtle humor. And the humor doesn't have to be like bust-a-gut laughing. There's no place like your own bed, even when you're a mere 2 years old. The first night at Grandma and Papa's, she cried out to me, "No crib, go home, I want my crib bigger." Bigger and taller, for the pack and play is low enough to the ground that it makes climbing out a breeze. No desire to be in the crib? That should be a question mark. Always editing. No desire to be in the crib? No worries. Just lift leg over the padded bar, hoist self up and over, and you're free. And it is this newfound toddler freedom that has imprisoned me. Okay, we've got another magic 3 going on. Just lift leg over the padded bar, hoist self up and over, and you're free. It's also a little bit of an expanded moment, but not a true expanded moment. And then I also have my metaphor again. This new freedom has imprisoned me. This is that literary technique there. Also, slight humor again. Okay, no desire to be in the crib? No worries. Kind of advertise-esque. Then, going on, rather than joining my family for a competitive game of Phase 10, I am stuck cradling a squirmy and strong 2-year-old, swaying back and forth until I'm seasick, all while singing Baby Beluga for the umpteenth time. All in a desperate attempt to lull the sweet babe to sleep. I'm going to get rid of that all for redundancy purposes. But also, I have yet another magic 3. Stuck cradling a squirmy and strong-willed 2-year-old, swaying back and forth, singing Baby Beluga for the umpteenth time. Again, this is specific details for effect as well. So we've got this magic 3 and specific details for effect. It's kind of a little combo, a 2-for-1 punch there. Moving on. As each day melts into night, my cunning charge has concocted new ways to utilize her sweetness in an attempt to avoid sleep. More kisses, she tells me as she kisses my face as rapidly as a woodpecker going to town on the trim of a house. Obviously, there we've got a simile. Kisses my face as rapidly. No, Mommy, I need to talk to you, she demands as I turn my face away from her in an effort to avoid her Calypso eyes. Calypso is a Greek goddess known for her seduction of Oedipus, and so here I'm alluding to the fact that I'm being seduced into her eyes. Lay down on bed with me, pleased the child who never was a cuddler. But staying true to my mantra, my children are stubborn, but I'm always 1% more stubborn than them, I resist her adorable, heart-melting attempts to woo me over, and then walk to the door and inform my husband that it's time for the changing of the guards. Okay, another allusion to the changing of the guards in London. Also, slight humor again, this idea of I'm more stubborn, but oh, wait, I'm going to walk away now and let somebody else deal with it. More importantly, I want to point out the use of the magic 3 here, because this magic 3 is 3 separate sentences. Okay, actually it ends here. Each of these is a sentence, but there's 3 of them and they're all parallel. They all begin with dialogue and then I have a comment about it. Lastly, someday I will look back at these nights with fondness. At least I know where she is, who she is with, and that I do have the ability to guard her every move. So, with that in mind, I'll just have to embrace this evening's imprisonment and enjoy that I can still cradle my baby. Okay, and then I end, of course, with another literary device going on. All right, so I hope you see how these have all been integrated, but a lot of them are utilized within one another. They're not isolated. When you isolate all of your smiley face tricks, again, it seems forced. Excuse me. You don't want to think of them as a checklist. Yes, you need to make sure you have at least 5, but some of you are trying to purposely place them in specific places and you're forcing it and it doesn't work. Go in, be natural, make it as natural as a conversation with a friend.